Day 2 of Cottonwood-Marble Canyon Loop in Death Valley National Park. Yesterday it was a big day, but what I did was I made my way through Cottonwood Canyon and out of Cottonwood Canyon and up the valley that connects the two canyons and over the first pass that you have to do to connect the two canyons. Now I'm going to start today by going over that second pass, which is the one that trips people up, and I'm pretty sure I camped right next to it. So let me flip this around. Okay, so the first pass you can't really see right now. It's kind of behind this hill where it dips down over there. And there's a series of washes that you kind of follow down to get to this point. It doesn't really matter which one you follow. You could come on this side of the hills, you could come on this side of the hills. It all kind of leads you down to around the same place, which is here. And if you remember yesterday, whenever there was water, or water at some point, there was a whole bunch of vegetation. So I think this is the dry spring. And I think once I get around this corner, I'm just going to turn left and head up that path that's behind the hill. So let's go check that out. And here we are. What a view, what a view. Problem is, gotta make it down there. So, a lot of the maps, trail maps, look like you have to go literally straight down from here. And again, conditions are always changing. So when I first did it, there was a little bit of a trail leading straight down here, which I did butt slide a bit. I believe the Park Service directions, you can actually pick up kind of turn-by-turn directions, like turn at the big rock sort of thing, from the Park Service, and they want you to go right and make your way down the head wall that way, which also looks awful. And I did hear that kind of maybe around this mountain, this little peak here, is a wash that'll take me down and join up. Basically, you got to make your way down to the bottom of this, whichever way you feel is best. So I think I'm going to go check out the other side and see if that's worth doing. Also to note, that's the first pass, this is the second pass. You follow the drainages down, and this hill right here, I camped on the other side of it. I made my way all around here and then up. It doesn't matter where you come from. People have actually, you can kind of see a little bit of it here, kind of beaten a trail coming from just before that hill. So basically, once you hit this dry spring, be finding your way up to this pass, which is the lowest dip. All right, so I'm going to do a little scouting before I make my decision on what route to take. Okay, to be honest, there are no good options to get down to this canyon down here. I just climbed over that hill, which was also not fun. This looks slightly steeper than what slightly less steep than what I did last time, so I might try it. I've never tried the route going to the right, but I can't see anything visually right now that looks any less steep than this. So I'm going to attempt this. I'll let you know how it goes. I might be butt sliding for part of it, but just gotta get down to the bottom there. I'm the majority way down this steep wash area. If you go straight down the wall from the pass, you're kind of on the other side of this hill. So you can see there's a little wash, and then it curves, and then it will join that main canyon, and then you can see all that green there. That's Deadhorse Canyon. Gorgeous, gorgeous canyon down there. You just gotta get there. So this is gonna be looking back up. This is not ideal, but this is better than going straight down the wall from the pass that I did last time, since I have not had to slide on my butt yet. The sand is a little softer, so I can actually kind of create steps for my feet, kind of like in the snow before I shift my weight. The other one I had to butt slide. If anyone's gone to the right, let me know how that is. Maybe it's just something I can't see. I can't see a route to the right that looks any better than either of these routes I've taken down. So I'd love to hear in the comments if you've done this hike before, what your favorite route for coming down to Deadhorse Canyon is. I just met up with the other drainage system. This is from the pass that the trail's supposed to take you over, and it looks like the Park Service maybe wants you to use that one, because this is where I just came from and it's blocked off. I'm gonna be honest though, because I came around here and then around there, and the really steep part of this is hidden. So I'm not sure what the best route is. Again, I would love to crowdsource what the best route is for heading down here. So I felt like that one was better than the one I did the first time. Maybe it's just because the conditions changed, but that wash is kind of blocked off to keep people from going there, which I did not see at the top. So I don't know. All I know is I'm down and I'm headed into the Deadhorse Canyon area. Officially in Deadhorse Canyon, and as you can see, it's a lovely camp spot. So Deadhorse Canyon, there's a really nice one back here past the vegetation as well that somebody was packing up in. Deadhorse Canyon is where one of the places I would suggest camping if you're doing this as a 3-day trip. Here and then somewhere in the Cottonwoods, anywhere from right outside Cottonwood Canyon to right where the foot traffic only begins. There's pretty regular camp spots all along that route. There's another nice little camping area. But because I'm doing this in 2 days, I had to make do with my less than ideal campsite last night. And let me check over here. There's no water here, so I'm not sure if Deadhorse Spring is running. I can check further down too. I do have enough water to get out. I did grab some extra at Cottonwood Spring, but you can't always rely on these springs, so definitely take extra. Oh, would you look at this? Deadhorse Spring is running. It's got a nice flow to it right now, kind of going out the side. As you can see, Deadhorse Canyon isn't exactly a walk in the park either. Anytime we have vegetation on this route, there's going to be some bushwhacking, and coming up is an 8-foot dry fall, which I've got to figure out how to navigate around. So I think once I get to Marble Canyon, it's a little bit more straightforward, but still have my challenges at Deadhorse. But since there's water, I'm going to stop here for a water break. Just in case you forgot where you are, this is Deadhorse Canyon. And here it is, the last, I think, of the difficult obstacles for today. This is an 8-foot dry fall, and it is part of the trail. So last time, when I was doing this with some other people, we looked at this and we were like, that couldn't be the trail. And so we did this kind of scramble up and around. It's very loose shale, and I do not suggest it. So this is going to be my first attempt at the dry fall. Yeah, so what I might do is I might just throw my pack over the side, definitely my poles. Anyway, I'll let you know when I'm done. Well, I'm down. It took a long time to figure out. I even chickened out and started to do the scramble until I remembered how bad the scramble was. I'm sure this is easy to those. I haven't thought about trying to go this way, but getting down to these rocks from there also looked impossible. I'm sure this is easy for anyone who rock climbs or boulders, and I don't do either. Those things scare me. You can see my hand is shaking a little bit, but what I did is I basically sat on the waterfall part and scooted my way down, and then used kind of that wall to the right and the logs just to kind of slowly lower myself down to where my feet would catch. Wasn't the prettiest way to do it, but it's done. Bones. Okay. Alright, I think that's the last of the super scary obstacles. Just got to get to where this flows out into Marble Canyon, and you can see we're kind of getting there. That's cool. You can see the mountains across on the other side of Death Valley. Ooh, that gets your heart pumping though. Heart is pumping. Okay, this is looking back at where I just came from, and supposedly this right here is the intersection for Marble Canyon. I was wondering when things started to narrow a bit. Marble Canyon is not this narrow throughout the whole canyon, but it does have some really, really cool narrows and a couple miles that are my favorite part of this hike. I think it's pretty straightforward from here. I guess I'll find out. Just entered a set of narrows. I think Marble Canyon has a couple set of narrows, but this is what this canyon is all about. It's really, really cool. And the rocks are really pretty. I mean, it's named Marble Canyon for a reason. But there's one particular turn in here that's just awesome. I'm not sure if it's in this set or if it's in the next set. And if you're wondering how this got its name, Marble Canyon, look at this. Nice striped wall. That's a big wall. So Cottonwood Canyon had the cottonwoods, and Marble Canyon has this gorgeous marble striping. So it makes sense. This is still Marble Canyon. It does widen at points, so I wanted to kind of show realistically what this canyon looks like, because you can pull this out for the super highlights and make you think that it's kind of narrows all the way, but it's still beautiful. I mean, beautiful rocks. We've got the sun on the rocks now. Some clouds in the sky, but mostly clear day. And again, nice gradual downhill, which is how I like my downhill. Look at the nice marbling on the canyon walls. That's really, really beautiful. If you're a geology nerd, this place would probably be super amazing. I have very minimal knowledge in geology. All I know is that is pretty. We should be approaching the last two sets of narrows, middle and lower narrows. I'm not sure which one has the really pretty section that I love, middle or lower, but should be getting to that pretty soon. I'd like to note it is so peaceful in here. It's incredibly quiet. You stop the crunching sound of my feet. Incredibly quiet with the except occasional bird chirp, and then of course whatever noise you're making walking through the canyon. But this is a nice treat to kind of end the hike, especially since that middle part of the loop is pretty rough and stressful. Ooh, entering another set of narrows. Ooh, these are my favorite. So it's the middle Marble Canyon narrows that are my favorite. It's nice and narrow. These walls are beautiful, and just the entire shape, the lines, you know, if you will, are just stunning. This is by far my favorite. I'm gonna film for a little bit as I walk through. So pretty. I think around the bend is a nice photogenic spot. This will be an extra long clip. Let's see what we got. Beautiful. Beautiful. Alright, that's about a minute, so I'm going to stop. So pretty. Now entering the last of the narrows. These are slippery. These are lower Marble Canyon narrows, so they're the first narrows you meet if you're coming from the trailhead parking lot. So at the end of this canyon is a trailhead for four-wheel drive vehicles, but got to walk past it back to the junction where the two washes meet, and then out that mini canyon and wash and back to my car. But until then, I will enjoy this last set of narrows. Okay, I see a car ahead of me, which means I'm spilling out of the Marble Canyon section. Well, the canyon section of Marble Canyon. So I'll be spilling back out into the wash, and from the wash it's about 4 miles, at least 4 miles, 4 to 5 miles, until I reach where I parked my car. So I think it's about time to put in the headphones and just pound out a couple miles. So it's interesting the different views you get when you come down out of a canyon as opposed to going up. So those mountains over there are on the opposite side of the valley of Death Valley. So I'm taking this wash from Marble Canyon down to where it meets up with Cottonwood Canyon, and then that little canyon that goes out to that valley. Now, a little bit of trivia here. If you look at this uniquely shaped mountain, it's kind of pointy. It's very uniquely shaped stretch of range. Out in the valley, in the Mesquite Flats, is the Mesquite Sand Dunes. And in the original Star Wars, they kind of do a pickup shot where the droids are coming down a dune, and that's at Mesquite Dunes. And you can see that pointy mountain and that very specific looking range, I would say, unique looking range in the background. So next time you watch that first one, I think it's called New Hope, the first Star Wars that was ever released, look for that scene with the droids coming down the dunes. You'll see those mountains in the background. Back at the junction for the two washes from Cottonwood and Marble Canyon. You can also see there's a lot more cars there parked now at the four-wheel drive lot. So I could go to the right here and just loop around again, but I am gonna go left and go to that mini canyon and out. I just want to note that that mountain yesterday morning that was covered in snow, absolutely no snow today. That's what it normally looks like. Entering the mini canyon and back out into the valley. Even though I'm not quite back to my car yet, that's pretty much the end of the hike. So even though I was feeling some stress this morning and some terror with the dry fall, which was not dry, by the way. It was a little bit wet, a little bit of a waterfall because Deadhorse Spring was flowing pretty good. But with all that behind me and that nice calm walk through Marble Canyon, I feel great. I'm super happy right now. I'm thrilled with the hike. It's a little bit more adventurous than it needs to be at times, but it's still a cool hike where you see a lot of cool things. That being said, it is not a novice backpacker hike. So that's it for this hike, and that's it for my time in Death Valley, and so that's it for now.